It's the Game Out Loud podcast coming to you with Rob, Jordan, and Dylan, and sometimes Colin too. It's everything about games you want to know. Thanks for listening to the show. It's the Game Out Loud podcast. Yeah, the Game Out Loud podcast.
Hello and welcome to the 169th episode of the Game Out Loud podcast. I'm your host for the week, Rob Peterson, and joining me, as always, is the Dingalicious Dylan Smith.
Yeah.
He's got dingles that dangle.
Indeed.
And do you have a matching dongle?
I do, but I don't really like talking about it that much. It's a very private.
Dingle, dangle, dongle. You don't want to leave the Congo. Oh, no. Also joining us is Jordan Rusnak. How are you doing, sir?
Actually, I don't think I'm going to be joining you this week.
Oh.
In fact, I don't think I'm going to join you next week either.
Oh, is this, you know what, Jordan, you can't quit. You're fired.
Well, I was just going to say that I was working on your huge Christmas present, but geez, you asshole.
Well.
Now I guess I get my own life-size replica of, like, Stephen Wang's Wang.
I don't know who that is.
Neither do I. So I'm doing a real good job of carving this thing out of solid ice.
Just using your imagination.
Yeah, I want to come up with this new thing. Like, I figure there's that thing where chicks do things to guys with, like, ice in their mouth, and I want to make this thing that is, like, kind of the same idea, but it's like an insert, and you call it the ice stickle. And that's my big plan to get rich. Yeah. Then we can have the whole ice stickle line where you just have, like, a frozen dildo that you can use. It'd be great.
All right, well,
they're real cool.
Yeah, I would patent that design because clearly someone listening to this is going to steal such a brilliant idea.
Yeah, I mean, I can be a real frigid business person, but I think it's a really cool idea.
What have you been playing this week?
Well, given the fact that we just had Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Woo! Gobble.
So I gotta ask you guys this though. Do you find that when you have the kimchi with the ferns and the mashed potatoes that it's a little much?
No, I actually compress my kimchi into kimchi concentrate and then grind that and then sprinkle it on the ferns.
They make dried kimchi chips. They were pretty good. I liked it a lot. You could grind that up and use it as a seasoning on something.
That sounds just as appetizing as buffalo chips.
But buffalo chips are fantastic. Made with real buffalo. Those are the ones you're talking about?
Sure.
Gotcha. I never realized that buffalo were so spicy inside.
I never knew they had wings.
Yes. And chickens have nuggets. These are just things we believe as a culture. But yeah, what I've been playing, we're getting into the holidays here for Christmas and the like. So I've tailored my gaming experience towards that sort of Christmassy aspect. So I did get Until Dawn.
And have you played it?
I have played some of it. I've gotten into the main game. That's fun. It definitely feels like it's made by the same people who did Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls. Heavily cinematic. You're making choices on the fly that affect.
It wasn't made by those people though.
I know. I just said it feels like it was.
Okay.
Like, I know it's not the same group. I said it feels like it's very, very similar. It looks very, very, very good. They definitely have all of their tropes in a row, right? So you've got like the jock, the jerk, the slut, the stoner, everything. It's basically like playing a slasher movie, and I love slasher movies. So this is right up my alley, and it's a $60 game. I actually happened to get it on Black Friday for like $15, which for a game like that, I feel that's a heck of a good deal because I wouldn't want to buy it outright for the retail. But
no, I'm with you. I wish I would have seen that. I would have gotten it.
Yeah, it's Black Friday at Best Buy actually had that as a deal. So it's pretty cool. I'm getting into it, making decisions. I always try to steer them away. Like, you know, when you're watching a horror movie and you're like, no, don't go in there, or no, don't go down that crazy dark path, or you got to stick together. This is your chance to actually influence a horror experience. And it really feels like that. It's like, oh, someone's outside. Should I just run out there, or should I try to wake my friends up? It's like, you're going to wake your friends up because we know what's going to happen if you just go outside. You're going to end up with a fish hook through your face. Like that's not going to be good. And when I say
Yeah,
fish hook, I imagine a tuna hook or something like that.
And when you say face, like if you're really lucky, it'll be your face and not someplace far worse.
Yes, like removing your intestines as you fall from a building or something. So I've been playing that, and then to also get into the Christmas spirit, I started playing The Evil Within, which that game.
Bethesda published. What's the name of the developer on that?
Let me pull it up. I have it right here. Store page. No, yes, that's my birthday. I don't care. I already own the game. You should know that I'm old enough to buy it. Tengo Gameworks, which I've
With
never
Shinji Mikami.
never heard of. Yeah. Wow. There's a bunch of DLC for this game that I didn't realize existed.
Well, it's made by the creator of Resident Evil, Shinji Mikami.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah, his last one I think was 4 that he actually worked on, or maybe 5. But I think it was Resident Evil 4, which widely considered the best one. So I like knowing that this is a game I've had my eye on. It's just there's been so many other games out there I haven't gotten around to it. So what do you think of it?
Well, I think that if you're gonna buy it, you should probably get it because it's $8.99 on Steam right now. It's usually $60.
Click, click, click.
Wait, hold
Blah,
on.
blah, blah.
You can get the bundle for $15 and get all the stuff for it.
I think. Wait.
What bundle do I search for?
The Evil Within bundle.
Add to cart. Purchase for myself. And I just bought it.
Yeah. I haven't gotten too terribly far, but what I've played so far, I really, really like. I'm a sucker for microphones that stay upright. Jesus. I'm a sucker for gruesome death scenes, and this game seems to have gore and gruesome death scenes for your character galore. So I am a fan. And there's one point where I was running from a guy. I made a mistake. He grabbed my character's arm, turned him around, cut off his arm. The guy fell down, and then he walked in front of the camera, and with like between his legs, you see like him like slam his cudgel down on your neck and just break it off. It's great. And I think this is a game I've been wanting to play for a while. I just didn't want to pay the price for it. So now that it's actually available at a price that I'm happy to purchase, I am severely glad that I got it.
Sweet.
Wait a minute. The season pass for this thing is how much? $79? No, $20. It's $79 for the whole thing. Okay. I was like, what? That's ridiculous.
That would have to be an amazing season pass.
Right? Now I need to know if I should buy these expansions because you got to have the entire game, right? That's how it works.
No, I don't think you do. Especially not right now when I have way more games to play than I have hours in the day. I'm completely overwhelmed by all the games. I still haven't beaten Bloodborne, The Witcher 3, Metal Gear Solid, or Fallout 4, or Tomb Raider, although Tomb Raider I'm getting close. Jesus Christ.
You'll have to fill me in on Tomb Raider when it's your turn to play. But
I shall.
I also started playing the Talos Principle.
Yay, that's a good one. That's another one I need to beat.
That one,
Right.
I see why you played it and then stopped.
Me?
No, Rob.
What do you mean? I just stopped because I think Bloodborne came out right after I bought it. I got distracted.
Okay. Because, yeah, it's...
Yeah.
It feels very, very samey, if you catch my drift.
Very, very interesting terminology.
Well, it seems like I'm
Repetitive?
always doing the same thing. Like, it's a variation of the
Samey?
same thing. Yeah.
So it's just repetitive?
Yeah, it's samey.
It's very samey. I like it, though.
It's
We're going
another
with that. Hashtag samey.
Yeah, it's another term for repetitive. It's very samey. I'm pretty sure that's a thing. Where's my wish list? Is there anything else on my wish list on sale? Besiege is $5. That looks like it'd be fun. Ooh, Black Mesa is $9.59. You never played the original Half-Life, right, Dylan?
No, I have.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Hashtag I just bought it.
Nice. Hand of
I just want you
Fate.
to know it's a 47.5 gigabyte download for me.
Yes, it is huge.
Ooh, I didn't know
Holy
that.
Crap.
I have an SSD. I'm glad that I'm going to be deleting some games here soon because that's literally more space than I have free on my stuff drive.
Is Hand of Fate worth $10, Dylan? Yeah.
What is
Okay.
it normally priced at?
Hand of Fate is normally priced at $25.
I don't know if it's your kind of game to justify that kind of investment.
Of
know,
$10?
I don't know if you.
Jesus, okay.
Well, that's the thing, though. I don't know how much you play those kind of games. I don't know how far $10 will go for you. I mean, if I liked it, but I haven't touched my PlayStation 4 in eons, so I can't even remember the last time I played that game, to be honest. I mean, it was a good game, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it wasn't like earth-shattering, holy crap, I'm dumping millions of hours into this game kind of earth-shattering.
Hey,
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, or excuse me, the game of Thrones, the video game.
Mm-hmm.
That's on sale
Ice
for
Dragon season
$14.99.
finale.
For how much?
$14.99.
That's not bad. How much is it normally?
$30.
So half off.
% off, man.
Yeah.
The Ice Dragon season finale.
You want it,
Oh.
Jordan. I know that you want it. It's a whole season of Game of Thrones, basically.
I do want it, but I've already got stuff in my cart.
Well, we'll have to see what Santa brings you for the holidays.
Because I was gonna pick up the Evil Within, the 2-part thing.
Oh, don't do that. Just get Game of Thrones.
Well, I can remove these. I'm still gonna buy Besieged, but that puts my total at $20.
Anyway, what else have you been playing, Jordan?
Right now
Enough
I'm
of
playing.
this shopping.
I'm playing this Steam sale game that is really efficient. Actually, I'm kind of excited because I am enjoying looking at the Steam sale because I haven't bought anything for the Steam sale in a while. But what else? Talos Principle. Oh, I played the Rainbow Six Siege beta.
Can you talk about that?
As did I.
Yeah, I don't think there's a problem with that. I didn't sign any
It was
like.
released by the company. I don't
Yeah,
think.
'cause
I wonder if there's like
I
any
didn't
other
sign
coverage.
anything.
I'm not going to be
Usually, I
able to
read
talk
those
about the. I'm
agreements pretty well.
not going to be able to talk about the Doom Alpha, sadly.
Why not? Did it come out?
It's coming out in 2 days, and that is under NDA. So that's all I could say about
I
that.
know everybody's talking about it. The Rainbow Six Siege beta.
Uh huh.
Hold on.
If you guys didn't sign anything, it's fine. Like, you would know. They make it very clear.
Then
Yeah.
no.
So that was fun. I had a lot of fun playing that game. I'm really looking forward to that coming out tonight. In fact, I'm going to go to work a little early so I can come home and play that. And Just Cause 3, which released tomorrow as well.
Yeah, which one are we doing an episode on? Are we going to do a dual episode?
Probably a dual episode.
Okay, because I did get both. Thanks to you guys hunting down bargains for me, or I guess you, Jordan, I was able to pick up both of those games.
Sweet. Yeah, I think I got both those games for about $70, like total.
It's a good deal.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, Rob, Game of Thrones, I just bought it.
Yay. You'll like it, man.
I got that and Besieged, so I can build.
I wish I was coming back to Seattle so I could play through Game of Thrones with you.
You should just come back to Seattle to play Game of Thrones with me.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, it'll be good times had by all.
Maybe I'll come up to Seattle sometime before my kid's born, because after that, there ain't going to be no traveling.
Right? God, no. You better not leave the podcast because you have a wee one. Dylan and I are already planning for that contingency, but...
Well, I'm going to leave for a while, but I don't think I'm going to quit the podcast.
Yeah.
But that is neither here nor there. Dylan Smith, are you there?
Yo, Rob Peterson.
You are there. All right. What have you been playing this week?
Supposed to hear both.
Whoa.
Whoa.
My brain, bro.
Whoa. No. So I bought Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2.
The Force Unleashed? He says it too, Rob.
Dude, you got the Force Unleashed?
Yes.
Yeah, I got Star Wars: The Force Unleashed 2.
No, the Force
you
Unleashed.
say it the right way. The Force Unleashed is what you just said.
I had my vape near my mouth. I'm sorry.
You don't have to lie. It's okay. That's just how that game is supposed to be said.
Okay, sorry.
And
I
Dylan,
got Star Wars: The Force Unleashed.
yeah, the game is your foot.
The game is.
That is an inside joke because we did an episode about that game with Colin years ago, and he called it the Force Unleashed throughout the whole episode, like every single time.
No, that's funny. I'll have to go back and listen to that one.
Yeah, you can check it out.
It's interesting. I've only got like 2 hours into it. I haven't really been able to sink a lot of time. I recently purchased it, I think yesterday or the day before. So, like I said, I haven't been able to get too much time into it. More shenanigans as the apprentice of Darth Vader with a twist. I mean, if you guys have already covered it, I don't want to necessarily rehash. 2 hours into it, having fun. We'll see how it goes. Another game I got.
Tell me about it. I want to hear more, Dylan. I want to get your
so
opinion.
I like it. It's okay. I mean, it's a little better graphics than the first, obviously.
Uh-huh.
But you start with more powers, I've noticed, instead of having to buy them all or use the force points or whatever you want to call it, which
Those
makes
are called
sense.
midi-chlorians, Dylan.
No, they use force points. a code.
I don't mean to force the point, but those are called midichlorians.
No, you're stupid. I don't know what I'm talking about. No, it's they say you have enough force points to unlock an ability or upgrade an ability. Okay.
Okay.
What do you think of
But,
Star Killer? I only know him through like lore that I've heard. I'm not familiar with the character. He seems absurd based on what I've read about him.
What do you mean absurd?
Just as a character, what he can do.
It's I guess this isn't a spoiler. Can I say something like pseudo?
You can spoil the whole game. I don't think anyone cares. So, spoiler alert for the Force Unleashed 2.
Which everybody, if you even give a crap.
Exactly.
Okay, you are a clone of Star Killer, and that's original. That point is made in the beginning of the game, so that's why I was like, and he has these. I don't know how to because he's a clone of Star Killer, like those memories or experiences that Star Killer actually had, he experiences or has like flashbacks or something, even though he's never obviously been where Star Killer was, because I believe that Star Killer was killed, sacrificed, or whatever you want to call it. But I don't know. He seems softer than Star Killer, in my opinion. It's been a long time since I've played the first one, so I can't necessarily give like a very in-depth character comparison. But he seems a lot more torn between the light and the dark, and then more light as the game progresses, exponentially more towards the light. Like, and one of your first things you do is you go save a Jedi. One of the very first things you do is disobey Vader and then go off and do your own thing. A lot of quick time events for enemies, like the bigger enemies, like machines. So those are and it's always the same thing. So at first you're like, wow, okay, this is interesting. And then after like the 400th time you do it, it's a lot less cool, a lot less engaging.
Is that true of the first game as well? I've never played either of these, and I'm a huge Star Wars fan. So I'm basically waiting for you to either talk me into buying them right now or not buying them.
Okay. They're fun. It's nice to be able to be on the dark side and still be more, I don't know, because everybody talks about starting in the light side and then going to the dark side, but nobody ever talks about going from the dark side to the light side. And this seems to be one of those kind of stories. So it's interesting to have the training and have the eye of Darth Vader, of all people, in the Star Wars realm, and to really pretty much just spit in the guy's face and give him the bird and say, like, look, I'm going to go do this because you're an idiot. So, I don't know. If you like Star Wars and you are a big fan, like you say.
Like I claim.
Yeah. But, like, at the same time, I don't know. I'm not a super obsessed fan with Star Wars like some people I do know. So I don't know how well it holds up to canon. I don't know. I mean, there's a million things you can argue about it. So if those kind of details bother you about a game, be careful.
Okay.
Because I don't know. They're just giving me story, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, sure.
And that's fine. It's not canon anymore, but I don't care about that. I just want to be told a good story in Star Wars. KOTOR's not canon either. And that's not going to stop me from replaying that game every year or so, you know?
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't gotten too terribly far into it either, so I can't like delve into it too terribly deep and, give you a really good, honest to goodness kind of review that I would like to.
Do you think, just based on what you've played, that it's better than the first, or should I start with the first one?
Start with the first one so you know what the heck is going on.
Okay.
Because I haven't finished the first one, and there were some things that had to be explained. I was like, what? They do draw a lot from the first game to set up the stage for the next mission in the next mission and the next mission, so on and so forth, for the second game. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that's that game. I also bought Super Mega Baseball Extra Innings just because I'm a baseball fan, like we spoke about last week.
Super Mega Baseball?
Super Mega Baseball! And it's pretty much a kid's game. I'm beating the ever-living snot out of it. So, but it's fun. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. It obviously does not take itself seriously.
Is this a new meme, Dylan? Do we get to make a picture of you and then like just different various kids games, and then it just says buys kids games to up gaming? Shit. I lost the joke. Never mind. I'm going to go cry in a corner.
Get out of here, Jordan.
I'm going to go.
Okay, so it's not like, trying to make itself out to be a very serious game. You can definitely see that it's appealing to the much, much younger generations. which is cool. But they also do kind of you can ramp up the difficulty. I actually beat the computer. My first game, I beat it like 42-2 or some ridiculous score. Like, it was stupid. Like, in the second inning, the game was like, "You are obviously trouncing the computer. Why don't you try turning up the difficulty?"
You're like, fuck you.
No, I have no idea what I'm doing. Not yet. Because I don't know all the controls. Like, I'm still learning how to throw to different bases. You have to move your mouse in a certain direction. Like, yeah, and sometimes it doesn't work. I don't know. It's kind of wonky, but you can definitely tell it was made for a controller. Okay, so if you have a controller, play it with that. I don't necessarily want to mess with the controller right now, just to see how it would have ported had we not, like how well laid out the game is minus a controller. And it's not horrible, but it's not fan-freaking-tastic either.
Yeah.
There are definitely things that that are lackluster, which is understandable. I mean, you're going from a game that is easily laid out, especially baseball, that's easily laid out on a controller, to a game trying to map out on a computer keyboard/mouse input. So a little slack there, so I can understand that. But all in all, it's fun. I mean, if it's super casual, like if you're not looking for a very big challenge and you like baseball, you want to play a little bit and screw off, it's fun. There you go. Got about an hour and 15 minutes into it, give or take.
What if I don't like baseball and I want to screw off?
Go watch a YouTube video of a baseball game. I don't know.
No, I don't like baseball.
Oh, well, then just go screw off.
But how do I do that? I need specific instructions.
Ask your mom.
No.
Another game that I got was XCOM Enemy Unknown. I actually bought that like an hour ago.
That's a good game.
I've never played it before, and it's interesting. I'm having a little bit of fun. Like I said, I've only got half an hour into it.
That's a game that you need to.
Late day today. So what's up?
That's a game that you got to put some time into, based on everything I've heard. That's like Colin. That's like his favorite series ever.
Oh yeah,
way up there.
Right on. Okay. Yeah, I got the Enemy Unknown and Enemy Within bundle. I got Enemy Within, Enemy Unknown Elite Soldier Pack, and Enemy Unknown Slingshot DLC. I got all of it.
Nice.
Yeah, and it was like dirt cheap. I think it was like, for all of it, it was like $10 or something like that. No, it was like $12. Not even $12.
That's not bad at all.
Nope. So I was like, you save 75% on Enemy Within. You save 67% both on Slingshot and Elite Soldier packs. So I figured, why not? That's dirt cheap. And everybody, it tells you what friends you have on your Steam that play this game. And I saw like 6 people, and I was like, all right, fine, screw it, I'll get it.
Oh yeah, it's a fantastic game. It gets hard, but it gets really good.
That's cool. So all right, then cool. I'm glad. So yeah, that's pretty. Oh, and I got I double dipped and got Diablo 3 for the PC because there's a whole bunch of new stuff coming out. Jordan, you and I played way back in the day on the PS4. As a matter of fact, listener, if you want, Jordan posted a pretty cool video of us playing on YouTube.
I did?
You did. Remember the certain level?
Nope.
Yeah, there's a level that we find that isn't necessarily normal, and no, it sadly is not the cow level.
Oh yeah, it's their version of the cow level.
Yes, but dude, the game has gotten completely redone since we've played.
Did I post that on YouTube?
Yes, you did. I've watched it.
Huh.
Thought I was there or anything. I needed to watch it, but interested to see things from your perspective. But yeah, it's a completely different game. Not completely. They definitely changed a crap load. I don't know if you guys remember. I dumped like 20 some odd hours into it when it came out, and the obviously Reaper of Souls edition, and I played the ever living snot out of that thing. Since then, I haven't touched it. It just became monotonous grinding, and I was talking with a buddy of ours, Jonathan O'Connell. Hi, Jonathan. Hi, Dave. I was playing with these guys, and apparently all the people that were involved in the beginning just have been let go, and they got a whole new team, and it's doing so well. And there are some items that were awesome in the beginning of the release that are just stupid and pointless and worthless now in this game. So obviously there's new items, there's new sets, there's a whole bunch of stuff. And there's a new season coming out. They're doing it in seasons, and I'm not really sure what that means yet. I'm still a rookie at all of that, but it's great, dude. I'm actually excited to see. I played for, I want to say like an hour and a half, and I got leveled all the way to 70 and Paragon level 2 from 0.
Jeez.
Yeah, dude, it's great. So it's no longer that struggle to catch up with your friends and, do all that crap. Like, you can just start a character, make sure you don't run in there with them, or else you'll get one hit by everything. but they had a tier. They're on tier 6.
Hmm.
The difficulty, it goes up to 10. Normal, hard, expert, blah blah blah, all the way up to tier 10. They're already on tier 6, and they've been playing since like this past weekend.
Strange. Interesting. Well, I'm glad you're having a good time with it. I had fun playing it with you. It's just once we beat it, I didn't have any interest in
Nope.
playing anymore.
Right, and that seems to be the biggest problem with a game series like this is once you reach end game. I mean, it's even a problem for World of Warcraft. Dave plays World of Warcraft, and it's the same issue of, okay, well, now what? That end of game content issue is kind of glares you in the face. So I believe that's why a lot of the shooters, those FPSs, Battlefield, Call of Duty, have gone heavily multiplayers, because that replay value is exponentially better now. Whereas a game like Diablo, you beat the game, then you just go through and do the same crap in different orders that you've already done them.
Right.
But now they have like a whole bunch of new content. I'm in places I've never seen before, fighting things I've never seen before, and there is a special level that I have been to already, and it's freaking awesome.
You're freaking awesome.
I know, right? I'm sorry. I can't hear you over how awesome I am. What did you say?
I said, what else have you been playing, Dylan?
Oh, right. No, that's pretty much it. I've been pretty busy with Thanksgiving, so that was a big push for games. I mean, I didn't have much time to myself this past weekend.
I got done working Black Friday. That was hell.
Woohoo. Well,
always back to Jordan.
It's all about me, buddy.
On to me then.
No, it's about Jordan. We gotta go back to Jordan.
No, me. It is my turn, Jordan.
All I have to say about that is,
don't care. It's my turn. So this week, I'm going to talk about a little bit of Star Wars stuff since I'm skipping Star Wars in the extra points this week.
Oh, you're playing Battlefront?
Well, funny you should ask that. No.
Oh.
I picked up, I didn't pick up. I've owned for nearly 2 decades Star Wars Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight.
Jedi Knights.
I hate you.
It's what it's called. It's Jedi Knights. Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knights with Jarek and Katarn and
There's
the Weebo droid.
There's one Jedi. His name is Kyle Katarn.
No, there's
Jarek,
the black guy.
No, that's Q-Ron dies right at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Katarn is the Jedi Knight. Singular, no S on the end, Jedi Knight.
I love that game so much.
It's great.
And their FMV.
Which one?
Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight. Rob, you'll appreciate
okay, I got
this.
that. Yeah, I got that. Yeah.
There's a piece of equipment at my job that when you go up, it's a lift, right? When you go up and down, it makes this noise. And it's the exact same noise that the turbo lifts use in that.
Really?
Except for there's no wow at the end. So I just hear the wah, and then it stops. And every time my brain just goes woo, like it does in that.
The sound design in this game is phenomenal. And, some of that is obviously all the Ben Burt Star Wars stuff, but not all of it is. A lot of it is stuff that's not taken from the movies, and it's just very, very well done. The sound of Kyle walking on great surfaces, or, it was an early game where the sounds changed depending on what you were walking on, and like you said, the elevators and the hum of the machinery and the weapon sounds. You have that. I haven't gotten to it yet, but later in the game, there's that super powerful cannon you get from the Trandoshans.
Oh yeah, the concussion
rifle, yeah.
Yep.
Just makes such a satisfying sound, and all the force power sound effects, like all really well done.
What?
The scale of levels in this game, and for people who don't know, this is a first-person shooter from LucasArts on the PC that was released in 1997. So, it's definitely outdated in a lot of ways, but just playing these huge levels, and they it's kind of similar to the first Half-Life in that it's linear, but there's big open spaces and little side places to explore. So you're not just in a maze like Doom. You're in places that feel like actual lived-in spaces, and there's even NPCs and stuff walking around. And it's just a cool game. I forgot how cool it is. So I'm probably going to play through it all the way. And I also forgot how much I remembered of it, if that makes sense. Playing through, I blasted through the first 3 levels. Just bam, 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 bam.
Speaking of awesome
every
things,
nook and cranny, it's crazy.
Isn't IG-88 so well rendered in that game?
AT-88.
Oh, is it AT-88?
Yep, my brother made the same mistake when he was watching me play on Sunday.
Well, he's an 88 droid.
Yes.
And he was rendered so badly.
very badly. The cutscenes are very terrible. I thought they were so cool when I was a kid.
Right?
I was like, oh man, this is basically like episode 7. And you come back to it and it's like, ooh,
It is
like
bad.
that. There's that three-eyed Yiri's guy at the beginning.
Yep.
And you can see the line in his mask where it's like glued together. Like the front half of it's a real mask and the back of it looks like paper mache. And all the acting is god awful and the writing's really bad. But who cares? Like there's some fun 90s charm to it.
Oh yeah. It's so good. Like I will always have a great place in my heart for that game.
Yeah, Jordan, also, do you have Audible?
No.
Okay.
Omaha.
Sign up for a free month of Audible, and I will give you the link. They have the entire Dark Forces Jedi Knight saga done as an audio drama on there.
Really?
Yeah. So
how much more is there? Like, is it all the way through all the Jedi Academy games and everything with like Mara Jade and all that?
No. It starts at it starts pre-Dark Forces is the first book that they're adaptations of books. So you get to see Kyle Katarn like join the Imperial Academy. You get to learn more about his dad and how he came to his end. You're introduced to Jarek and Grand Admiral Thrawn's in it. And it just tells all that story. And then it tells the story of Dark Forces. And then it tells the story of Jedi Knight. And you get like, especially with Jedi Knight, it fleshes out the story way more. Like Yun, the Jedi, the Dark Jedi in that gets
the young guy
backstory. So it's just very cool if you're a fan of these games. It's really cheesy as well. Not quite as cheesy as the cutscenes in this game, but like not far off. But who cares? Like I know you'll love it. It's nice. It's a nice hit in the nostalgia.
Nice. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah. Also on that note, I got my joystick working because they finally released some beta drivers for my Cytec X52 Pro for Windows 10. And I played a little bit of Rebel Assault, which I bought on GOG. Who knows when? It's a really bad game. Don't buy it. Even if you thought it was
Rebel
cool
Assault.
when you were a kid.
Are you talking the FMV game?
Yep, it's really bad.
Oh God. That's a game, I think.
Yeah. So I played through a few missions of that. I never want to see it, think about it, or talk about it again. And then I played a bunch more Tomb Raider. Because
how's Tomb Raider treating you? Are you liking it?
It's so good. Like it is such a polished, well-made, interesting game across the board. It's really well written. It's really well acted. Each set design is memorable and well done. I mean, it's the best game of this type since Uncharted 2.
Awesome.
I don't think it's better than Uncharted 2, but like that's the kind of rarefied action adventure game territory we're talking about here. So if you're into the last Tomb Raider game or into the Uncharted games, or you just like this particularly highly scripted, highly polished cinematic style of game, which I usually don't. But boy, like this is such a good example. I'm having a blast with it.
Sweet.
Yeah. So with that, we're going to go ahead and jump over to Extra Points, the part of the show where we talk about the book, movie, TV show, or other piece of non-video game media that we were into this week. So Jordan, let's start with you, sir.
I started watching the show with Alec Baldwin. I think it's called 40 Stones.
That sounds right.
Tina Fey's in it as well. Is it 40 Stones or 20 Quarts?
With Tina Fey Dunaway.
Yes.
And yeah.
Alec Baldwin.
Yeah.
30 Rock. Have you ever seen that show?
Colin is the world's biggest fan of it, but I've not seen it.
Oh, I've heard people tell me I should watch it and just decided that, yeah, sure, I'll give it a try. And sure enough, I like that show. It's a lot of fun. Like it's about a TV show. It's a TV show about a TV show. And the people who create, it's almost like I think a Saturday Night Live sort of series. So I don't really know how to describe it other than the fact that Tina Fey is like the producer. And then she has Alec Baldwin, who's her boss, who's a new guy who comes in and basically just is amazing at everything and like severely funny. It's a really, really good show. I recommend it if you like good like 20-minute long comedies.
Sweet.
But that's what I got.
Dylan.
Yo.
How about you, sir?
So I've been at the aforementioned Spotify. I listen to a lot of music. My job allows me a lot of time in front of a computer. So and my bosses are freaking awesome. So I get the privilege of listening to music. And so I have been grooving on the song. It's by a guy called Bibio is the official band name, but his name is Stephen Wilkinson, and it's French. So forgive me, French listeners, if I totally botch this, and all you French-speaking people out there. I believe he says "à tout à l'heure."
Is it tout à l'heure?
And what?
Is it tout à l'heure?
Sure. But it's a super chill vibe. It's one of those songs that I'm not 1,000% sure what it's about, but it's really cool, and I really, really, really like the groove that's in this song. And I've probably listened to it a couple million times this week alone. Like I love this song. I followed a playlist on Spotify that has it on it, and one day it just started playing and immediately caught my ear. And I actually, without hopefully my boss doesn't hear this, I lost my focus on my work and I've jammed out to it like twice before getting back to my job. I was vibing so hard with it. It was awesome. So it's off of the album Silver Wilkinson, which is a very close semblance to his name, Stephen Wilkinson. But yeah, it's great. It's not. I mean, Jordan can testify. I listen to a wide variety of music, and so some listeners may not like this song just because of its genre. It's not rap or anything. It's I don't know, how would you classify it? Like, I don't want to call it indie.
Yeah, that's probably what I would call it. I mean, it's not really a
pretty
genre,
sure that's what it is.
but
Okay, cool. I just wasn't sure. I was hesitant to do so. I'm not a good genreist.
Yeah, I'd
That
call it
that
like
word I guess is right on up there with samey.
indie rock, indie pop. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but I wasn't sure. That's why I was hesitant. I didn't want to say it because I wasn't sure if that's PC or whatever. But
It's not, but I did it anyway. I'm such a rebel.
okay, cool. you rebel. So now that you have finished that task as a rebel, are you now rebel without a cause?
Yeah, that makes me sad.
Sad panda. Yeah. So pretty much, I guess that just summarizes everything I've been talking about. I really like this song. Listen to it. There you go.
All right, and last and certainly least, myself, I saw a movie this week called Kroll. You guys ever seen this? 80s fantasy movie?
Yeah, old one.
Kroll?
Yeah, Krull.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
All right. It's pretty good. I enjoy 80s fantasy movies, you know, Conan the Barbarian, Labyrinth, The Dark Crystal, Neverending Story, and this is a brand new addition to the list for me because I never saw it, and it was really good in a cheesy 80s kind of way, you know?
Oh, completely.
Awesome. What are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean, it has a very generic plot, like the most generic fantasy plot you can think of. The evil dark wizard kidnaps the princess, or the queen in this case, and the king has to save her, but it's just fun, and it was shot in really interesting locations in like Italy, so all the scenery looks great, and it's not a B movie. It's like high budget and mostly well done, even with the bad green screen or blue screen from time to time. There's like a really cool stop motion animation spider at one point, and there's lots of fun, cheesy fantasy stuff. Fucking Liam Neeson's in it. I don't know if you guys remember that. Yeah.
Actually, I don't think I've ever seen Kroll. I think I just know what it is.
What? No, it's an awesome movie. Are you kidding me? Big sand castle thing, and the desert keeps moving, and they got that big freaking Cyclops dude with them.
Yep. That's the one.
The bad guys make. Or who is it the bad guys that make that like really shrill scream or whatever? What is that noise?
Yeah, and then they explode, and weird worm thing comes out of their head.
Yeah.
I thought we're talking about Resident Evil 5. Okay, isn't that Resident Evil 5 where they have the symbiote things?
Different thing. This is a movie
in
the 80s called Kroll. I think you would like it, Jordan.
I'll look it up.
But yeah, that was enjoyable. I'm trying to make a thing of catching up on some of the 80s fantasy movies that I missed. So that was like definitely a great one. The other one I watched recently that I won't get too much into is Ice Pirates. You guys ever seen that?
Dylan, not off the top of my head.
If you like Kroll, check out Ice Pirates. It's more of a comedy. It's like a bad Star Wars knockoff, and I think they all knew how terrible it was, so they just kind of turned it into a comedy, and it's pretty good for a terrible. That is a B movie. So anyway, with that, we are going to go ahead and play a few seconds of music here, and then when we regroup, we will get to the meat of this discussion. So stick around for that.
What if we're vegetarian?
The Game Out Loud podcast. Yeah, the Game Out Loud podcast.
And we're back. Now, a once dominant force in AAA gaming was the first-person shooter. And I don't say that to imply that it's gone away or anything like that. There's still very large franchises like Call of Duty that come out every year. But I don't know about you guys. It feels to me like the first-person shooter has been diminished, particularly the first-person single-player shooter. And that's not to say there haven't been any good ones in the last few years. There absolutely have. But that used to be a staple and one of, if not the biggest genres out there. And now it seems like nearly everything is some type of open world, third person action hybrid game. And shooters are getting kind of rarer, especially single player ones. So I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit
quality.
about. And quality has dropped. We're going to get to that too. Why do you guys think this is happening? Is it happening, or am I imagining it? And what do you think about it?
I don't think you're imagining it. I think it's just shifted. So before, you didn't really have a way to create these huge sprawling worlds, and have them be in memory and available and be able to see them in a lot. So I assume that a lot of the reason why first person was used was that it really quarantined off what you could see, right? Like if you're in third person, you have a much higher field of view.
You don't a lot of times, actually.
Really?
Yeah, the camera in third person games does not always have a higher
Super
field of
high.
view than first person games. Like
Oh,
that's an
well.
interesting theory, but I don't think that's correct.
No. Well, I think it's correct, and that's all that matters. No, I'm kidding. I just thought maybe might be a thing of it, but also you have all these different ways of doing things, and first person is really good if you want to have the person that is playing the game internalize what you have going on. But there's some games where I don't think you could play it first person because it would just be too rough, you know? Like Evil Within so far. I don't think I could play that in first person. I need to have all of my faculties around me, be able to move the camera around, see what's going on and the like. What do you think, Dylan?
I don't mind first person. You are right though. It is a very interesting theory about that. But I agree with Rob. I think that with the advent of better graphics, with the advent of like better systems, more powerful consoles, not just consoles but PCs, just that technology, surge that we've had, a whole new field of boundaries has been opened that previously were unattainable in the wildest dreams, and now when you compare Doom 1 with the Doom coming out or anything like that, like it is a stark contrast. And then with those, there are a lot more gray areas that we've come across over the years, and so how to answer or address those, I think, can spawn a lot more gray questions and gray areas and uncertainties that I don't know. It's kind of like this choose your own adventure. It's just this huge path that branches and branches and branches, and each person will approach the problem differently. And so I don't know necessarily if the games are getting worse so much as maybe if they are, we're barking down the wrong tree. No pun intended.
Well, I think
Go ahead.
I think it's not that all first person shooters are getting worse. I think the Far Cry series has stayed very high quality and has been open world with lots of branching paths and lots of things for the character to do, but without becoming more of an RPG type Fallout 4 thing, right? Like I would not describe Fallout 4 as a first person shooter, even with the new emphasis they've put on the shooting mechanics. That's just not really what it is, even though it can technically be played that way. And we also have the Wolfenstein games, which kind of stand out for being like they don't feel old, but they feel like they have a little bit of an old school mentality where
It's definitely throwback.
since your character can't do quite as many things in a first person shooter, like you don't have an animated third person body that you can watch animations play. When first person shooters try to be that, like Call of Duty does, I find it very annoying. Controls constantly wrestled away from you and stuff. Feels like you're watching the game rather than playing it. Wolfenstein managed to still feel like an old school first person shooter where you're in control, but they did interesting things with the AI and the level design to keep it exciting. And I think that's what other successful FPSs, single player FPSs have done in the past, like Half-Life 2.
Half-Life 2 is such an amazing game. What do you think Half-Life 3 is going to bring something new to the table or even exist?
No, I'm not. I have not had my hopes up for that for several years.
I want it though. Why doesn't it actually exist, Rob?
I don't know. Email Gabe Newell. I'm sure no one's ever done that before.
Dylan emailed him. He never responded, but he emailed him.
It wasn't about Half-Life 3 or anything.
No,
No,
but
it's-
your issue magically went away after that, didn't it?
Did.
Was it directly after that or just randomly after that?
Well, I can't necessarily quantify random or not. It wasn't too terribly long afterwards, but it wasn't immediate either.
Gabe's like, this guy is trying to spend money with us. We need to get him access to that, please. Thank you.
He probably just read my email, forwarded it to the appropriate person, and moved on about his day.
I think that's what he
I
did.
guarantee you doesn't even remember my name or my issue.
Or he
'Cause
went,
I'm a drop
everybody
in the
stop.
ocean.
Yep.
Dylan Smith has a problem. I
Yeah.
need you to escalate this to the highest level.
This kid in Podunk, Missouri has an issue, and we need to fix it.
If you did, kudos, Mr. Newell. I greatly appreciate that. Not that he'll
Thanks,
ever hear
Mr.
those words, but if
Newell.
he does, really, I do appreciate it. But
First-person shooters. Used to play them so often.
And what's the
I
last?
still do that.
Do you? Well, you
Like-
play online ones though, right?
Yeah, and that's what I was going to get into is like that evolution of the game that I was talking about earlier Doom 1 didn't have multiplayer, you know? And with the advent of that stuff, you can see if you look down the history of the first person shooter, that experience is what I think all of the people are after. And so that experience, quote unquote, the best possible case scenario is different for every person, you know? And that's because of personal taste. So 1,000,001 people have come up with their version of the world's greatest shooter, and not too many have stood out other than Battlefield and Call of Duty now, you know. But you look at
Crysis.
the main selling points of those games, and that's multiplayer.
Yep.
Yeah, I've never
So-
heard a kind word about a Battlefield campaign. Some people like the Call of
Exactly.
Duty campaigns. They're wrong, but they're entitled to their dumb opinions. But yeah, you just never hear anything good about the Battlefield ones. I get that's why they didn't do one for Battlefront. I don't know.
Yeah, whenever they
Yeah,
try to
that's
do
a
them,
good
it's
point.
not that great. Even Volition did a bad job on it.
Or a forgettable job anyway. They did that one, right, that came out earlier this year.
Yeah, Hardline. The problem is they put too much emphasis on that single player, which wasn't that great, that they didn't focus much on the multiplayer. And if you're going to have a Battlefield game, it's got to have good multiplayer. I don't know who
Well,
the
see,
hell on
that's
their team
that's
was
the
like,
evolution that I'm talking about. Is it went from obscenely story-based, story-driven game, or just, I mean, if we want to talk about Doom again, sorry to keep referencing Doom, but you just ran through and shot demons. Like, you're in hell and you kill a bunch of stuff. Like, there's no real story to it other than go through this, get to the next level, kill everything you see because they're gonna try to kill you, get to the next level.
they
It
still
wasn't
have games like that. Serious Sam is like that. Just that straight up frenetic shooter.
Yeah, but at the same time, it wasn't over the top either. I'm not, it's hard to explain what I'm thinking here. Like,
I'm pretty sure Doom was over the top for when it was created. Fucking destroying demons, seeing all these hellish images, and having a shotgun that turns things into giblets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What more
Doesn't
do you
that
need?
seem like it'd be a little over the top? When Tetris.
but again,
is
it's
your
also
standard thing?
time relative,
Like, would
cultural
you
relative.
like? Did you
Like,
know that
we look at
Quake?
Doom. If we took a teenager and sat him down and made him play Doom 1, they'd be like, "What the heck? This is so dumb."
Why can't I look up?
Yeah, like, so that's, I think we do have to weigh that into the conversation and the thought processes.
Did you know
Yes.
that Quake is a Cthulhian story, or at least a Lovecraftian story?
I did.
I did not. I didn't know Quake had a story.
Oh yeah, Sandy Peterson, who used to work at id as a level designer, is a big time Cthulhu buff.
Any relation?
No, but he has the same Danish spellings, so I mean maybe, but not that I know of.
Sorry, Dylan, didn't mean to cut you off. What were you saying?
No, you're fine. I think we do have to bring to bear and keep in mind at least the relativity of time and culture to when these games are released. And going back to what I was saying earlier about the experience, that golden perfect experience is what people are after because that'll sell because people want an experience. So
But
with that,
when's the last time?
ahead.
When's the last time someone moved the first-person shooter campaign forward? Really?
See,
Bioshock.
that's what I mean. We've all gone. It's the approach of someone else. And so everybody, I mean, multiplayer did so well that you remember that nobody. I mean, how long is it? Like you said, Rob, how long has it been since anybody's done a good multi or a single player campaign?
But not just a good one. There's been some good ones. Like I said, I mentioned Far Cry 3, Far Cry 4, Wolfenstein. They're out there. BioShock Infinite, arguably, was pretty good. But none of those games moved the genre forward. Maybe you could argue BioShock. But Far Cry 3 was just, they took what Far Cry 2 did, which was expanding on what Far Cry 1 did, and introduced all the Ubisoft shit because they took it away from the Ubisoft Montreal team or whoever was working on number 2. It's just, everything's so iterative, whereas before, like, we used to see some pretty big leaps, and we're still seeing big leaps in games, in games like Metal Gear Solid 5, The Witcher 3. Like, these games feel like serious steps forward. No one has come out and done that in a first-person shooter since, I mean, some people would say BioShock. I would say Half-Life 2.
I don't know. Like, I don't know, because what about, I mean, you remember me and Jordan were ranting and raving about Call of Duty Advanced Warfare?
Yep.
The verticality of first-person shooters was completely changed.
Do you still stand by that, Jordan?
That's not the first time that's happened, Dylan. I just said it was a good...
Yeah, but how well, that's what I mean, but it was, they did it the way that, was most effective.
Well, for their bit, I mean, Crysis had verticality before that, and they did it way better.
Then how come you didn't hear about, I mean, if it was that big, then why was, the exo suit such a big deal about being able to go vertical?
Because Call of Duty has never had that.
I don't know.
It's great from a Call of Duty perspective.
I think it's broader than that, though. But the problem is I think that these, like, I think maybe the point Rob's trying to make is that none of these changes are, I don't know, for lack of a better term, sticking. There's not anything that is really, truly noteworthy that has just caused everybody to crap their brains out when it comes to first-person shooter. Everybody's gone graphics and multiplayer.
Yeah, there haven't been any serious new gameplay paradigms. God help me for using that word. But no one's, like, done anything with the single-player first-person shooter in a major way in years and years, it feels like. I guess, no, I keep coming back to, like, I want to say, I guess Elizabeth in BioShock Infinite, but no, Alex Vance did that 7 years earlier,
See, nothing's sticking. So
VR is going to be the big changer.
I don't think it's for lack of trying. I mean, we keep coming up with examples,
I don't know.
Maybe it's the change and example that really just blows it out of the water. But like I said, everybody's gone graphics and multiplayer. Everybody wants it to look good. Everybody wants it to... I want to see the water running off the leaves when it's raining kind of attitude, I
think it's a little bit for lack of trying. Crysis definitely did some interesting things. The first Crysis game, unquestionably, really, it was the first game to mix high-octane first-person shooter action with big sandbox physics-based elements where you could come up with all these crazy emergent ways to play through the levels, throw in stealth as well, throw in the exosuit that you've got so you have all these powers. I mean, that felt new.
You're right, and that's why Crysis is doing so well.
Is that sarcasm? Because Crysis has gone way downhill, and it seems like, they focused on other stuff. Although Crysis 3 was okay. I think that game was a little bit.
But, I mean, you're right, though, and I agree with you. But at the same time, nothing's sticking still. You know what I mean? I go back to that argument. Nothing's really sticking. I remember one of the funniest things I ever experienced in a Crysis game was when I turned on my PlayStation 3 and it ran Crysis, and I got an achievement just for turning the game on it, and it was an emblem of a PS3 smoking, and it said, "Can it play or can it run Crysis 2?" ?
Yeah.
Which points to the graphically intensive. I mean, isn't Crysis 3 one of the benchmarks?
Absolutely.
Graphics cards now.
And Crysis 1 was at the time.
Graphics. Even Crysis,
Well, Crysis. I mean, graphics were definitely a big part of Crysis, of the appeal of that series from early on. But I think some people got lost in that and said, it was just a generic shooter. No, it wasn't. The first Crysis was fantastic.
No, I'm not saying it is, but you're right. But my point is, again, graphics and multiplayer.
But I don't know. BioShock Infinite didn't have particularly good graphics. It was a fairly average game on a technical scale. It just seems like the big open world third-person action thing has taken over a lot of these businesses. Monolith, who used to produce some of the very, very best first-person shooters. They made No One Lives Forever. They made Fear. They made Tron 2.0, Alien vs. Predator 2. Their last game, Shadow of Mordor. Great game. third-person action adventure open world icon hunt. It's just a little bit of a bummer to me because I always grew up first-person shooters were my favorite genre, and I just feel like every campaign we get now is either just COD or a COD clone, or just they aren't able to move the genre forward at all in an interesting way that sticks. Yeah, like you're absolutely right, Dylan.
Which of those games, like Singularity, Fallout, like all these different games have different hooks that each of them are going to have. They're going to innovate on. Not one is going to stick. What are we looking for as far as something sticking? Like it's going to have. It can't just be like a mechanic. It's going to have to be something that literally is a game changer, like VR. Like when VR comes into play, I think there you're going to start seeing revolutionary things that actually change the genre as a whole, instead of just like on one-off
But see,
instances.
that's not inside a game. I would say that's another. I don't know. Like I agree with you, but that I think is coming as a whole to gaming. Period, not just FPSs. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I would crap a golden brick if I got to play baseball in VR. No lie, dude. I would crap a golden brick.
You will.
And I'm super looking forward to it someday.
I
I mean,
mean, baseball makes
it
so
would
much
blow
sense.
my mind to be able to stand in a batter's box at Fenway Park, man.
Yeah, you will. Like that.
In Busch Stadium here in St. Louis. Like, oh my gosh, that would be freaking epic.
That
You
makes
know?
more sense than a first-person shooter in VR, to be honest. Like it doesn't require you to run all around your house. You can just stand there. You have one motion
Right.
controller that is your bat. That like it writes itself. First-person shooters don't work very well in VR, which was a surprise to pretty much everyone, myself included, because that's one reason I was so excited for them. First-person shooters, you run around like at like 60 miles an hour, and you're jumping and flying through the air, and you are not moving like a real person moves. When you
true.
put yourself in VR, your body does not like that. So, Jordan, you may very well be right, but first-person shooters in VR are going to look and play very, 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 very differently than first-person shooters that we know, like than the games that evolved from Wolfenstein 3D and Doom.
Yeah. Still say something crazy like that will be the permanent game changer.
But I think that you're right. I absolutely agree. But that's for gaming as a whole, not just specifically FPSs.
Yeah.
So that's
And
kind of like saying if we find the Holy Grail, that'll help cure cancer. Like, well, yeah, but that'll also help this.
Cure all death.
Yeah, I mean, it is. You're absolutely right. It's going to be earth shattering. But at the same time, there's more implications to it than just FPS. And I don't know if we're trying to focus on FPS or not. I mean, I don't. If we're not, I'm trying not to keep dragging that, and I apologize if I am. But
No, I mean, that's basically what I'm talking about, is just like what happened to the FPS. This used to be such a dominant genre, and now it still exists and it's doing fine, but it seems like it is out of the limelight. Halo 5,
yeah, well,
worst Halo ever.
you
COD,
look at
whatever.
the warnings that you guys gave me when I was joining the PC race. Look at what's happening to gaming, and I use air quotes on that, gaming as a whole. You look at Steam now, you guys are absolutely right. Like, what the crap, And a side note, I could be wrong. Everybody's gone to that 8-bit graphics indie crap. Like, I hate it. But when we talk about specifically FPS, like, I think they have gone graphics intensive. But with everybody's trying to find that one niche. They can't necessarily copy everything, because you run the risk of just being called for example, a COD clone, like Rob said earlier. So that's why I think a lot of these different games have their own little thing, but they build on it in the hopes that it is the thing that changes FPSs, and it is the thing that brings about that revolution.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see. On the horizon, the game that seems most likely to kind of bring the genre back is Doom. And I'm looking
Yes.
forward to playing it and not talking about it, so that I will know whether or not that ends up being the case.
One more quick thought. There are still implied, and we haven't even talked about them yet. There are still boundaries within an FPS that you have to, operate it into. I just to pull something out of my head, a sports game. It's not like I can run along the baselines against the stadium and shake a fan's hand and eat his nachos and high five his kid or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like we're going to be able to do that. The focus is going to be somewhere else. And so there are constraints, kind of unspoken constraints inside of FPSs even, that I think that may cause funneling that of attention towards other things. And so with that, I mean, I don't know, that's just I'm throwing something out there, but it's just a thought that came across my mind. But maybe that also does play a part in that lack of a radically new, amazing, earth-shattering FPS that we have seen so far.
Yeah, that could be. Jordan, you got anything else you want to add?
No, my head's pounding. I'm ready to get out of here.
If you need to find us, you can email us at gameoutloudpodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Twitter at gameoutloudcast. We are, of course, also on iTunes, so please, please stop what you're doing. Put down the
Stop
sandwich. Go to iTunes, subscribe, rate, and review the show. That really helps us out. And of course, we can always be found on www.bagofgames.com/podcast. And with that, we will see you next week.